Well, here we go. I am bored and I am cranky and I am sick and tired of the whole, you know what I'm talking about, the virusy thing that I'm sick of. It's gotten to the point where it's hard to even keep track of what day of the week it is. That's how annoying it's gotten. So I figure, what the hell? Let's open up a whole bunch of stuff that unfortunately my camera wasn't pointed at enough to see it. There, you see, prezzies. People bought me stuff. Gosh knows why. And I figure, what the hey? Oh, by the way, hey there, Critical Gripple. How you doing? This stream is very impromptu. I don't even know how many of you are watching at the moment, but it's probably not many. But still, let's start by opening this. And hopefully YouTube won't decide to kill this stream again, because last time, apparently I mentioned a certain movie studio's name too often and flashed a product related to one of their movies on the screen, and that was enough for a copyright claim. And YouTube has assured me that never happens, but whatever. Anyway, we'll start with this, shall we? So what have we got here? Survey says, this would be season 1 soundtrack of Stranger Things. So now I have all 3. I got the last 2 last time. I'm assuming that this is from the same fella. Let's see here. Each note was unique. Yeah, okay, let's play a game. ZBP. I don't even remember what that stands for anymore because I have the memory of retention of a goldfish, but I remember it was like Zoom Bebop Pirate or some shit. I don't know. Anyway, fling. So yeah. And yes, you are right. It is perfect for being stuck inside. Now, this, on the other hand, is it has, I know what this is. It comes with a certificate of authenticity. So let's see, what have we got here? It is hereby certified that this collectible is an authentic original in the limited edition of the, and I'm not saying because I want to open it so you can all be surprised. Yes, indeed. All right, so we will take the canife here and we will saw through the tape and the foam of type styro. And is that enough? Yes, it is. Oh my, here we go. This gets flung, and this similarly gets flung. I think that you should be able to use flanged as a past tense for flung, don't you? So this is an Aliens Xenomorph beer Stein. Check it out. Yeah. Oh, hey, there's a note inside. What's this say? Look at this. See here, you got the, yeah. That's pretty cool, actually. So what have we got here? It says, important care and handling. Well, you guys don't need to hear about that, I'm sure. I don't really drink a lot of beer. I'm hoping this can take coffee, because how cool would it be to drink coffee out of a Xenomorph beer Stein? Am I right? Am I right? I think I'm right. So I know that this is probably kind of delicate. I'm just going to leave it on the desk. Yes. I didn't see a note. I don't know who this is from. But the thing is that a lot of this stuff was purchased all at once, so I'm going to assume it's from the same person who sent me the Stranger Things stuff. Anyway, so what's in this one? Let's see what's in here. Ooh. Oh my, oh my, oh my. So this right here is apparently volume 1, 2, and 3 of Disney's Tailspin. Uh-oh, I mentioned Disney. They're going to cut off my stream, aren't they? But Tailspin, I love this show. Now, there's a lot of revisionist history going around with stuff from like the 80s and 90s where they're going, oh, by the way, that character everyone loves so much, yeah, they're like a serial rapist or something. If you watch the movie with this, that, or the other thing. Or they'll say some other weird stuff like, oh, hey, like Johnny was the good guy all along and Daniel was like the bad guy who just whatever. But so a lot of people say that this has some pretty racist overtones, and I see what they mean. Like there's a lot of stereotypes in here. Although I suppose you could point at them and say, yeah, but they're animals. So if you're seeing race in here, there's something wrong with you. But I mean, whatever. I love it. And like, I've gotten a few people to agree with me on this. Tailspin is diesel punk. It's Disneyfied furry diesel punk. And I love diesel punk. I think of the punks, well, actually, I guess Ray Punk is more my favorite because that encapsulates space opera, things like Star Wars and the like. But I also like cyberpunk a lot. But I loves me some diesel punk too. Diesel punk, for those of you who don't know, is basically when it's set in sort of a World War II-ish setting. And, you got stuff like The Rocketeer and Sky Captain, The World of Tomorrow, and Iron Sky and stuff. Those are all diesel punk. I can't stand steampunk. I know people love their steampunk, but that sort of Victorian England look, forget about it. Or whatever it was, whatever that look is, the Renaissance-y look. Screw that. Anyway, there's something else in here. Oh, and there's also a note. Thank goodness. Oh, yep. I win. It's from the same person. I really wish I could remember what those initials stand for, but hey, this is a really fun board game. Now, I have a every other week game night on Fridays, and it's got a plastic dispenser. Oh my. Oh, I see. It's not just cardboard anymore. Anyway, so Gizmos is a great game. Now, one of our like creators of the game night had to bow out. He'd been doing it for like 3-4 years and he was tired and he had so much to deal with. And so he said, and, it's a shame because he was actually one of my favorite people at the game night and still is one of my favorite people. He's a great guy. So this is one of the games that he would always bring. It's called Gizmos, and I'm going to call it an engine building game because you have to like buy all these cards using energy and stuff. And those can create cascade effects where it's like, okay, I use this, which triggers that, which triggers this, which triggers that. It's that kind of game, right? And so that's what this is now. It says second edition. I don't know what the difference is. I'm assuming that's just the plastic dispenser part because there's like these marbles that represent energy and they go in this thing. And if that's plastic, because the version I know is cardboard and it's kind of flimsy. So if this is plastic, that will help a lot. But like I said, because this is one of Johnny's games and he's not going to show up at game night anymore, which really stinks, I figured I ought to get my own copy because I really do enjoy this game. I think the only shame about this game is that you can only play with up to 4 people. And game night tends to attract anywhere from 20 to 30 people. And now the cats are fighting. Knock it off, you two. Yeah, so it'd be nice if it could play more people. But whatevs. It's still a great game. So, yeah, thank you for that. And now we have one last package here to unbox. Now, there's an actual address on here with someone's actual name on it. And based on that, I suspect that this is from Purple Rhymes with Orange because he had a fundraiser thingy that he was doing to help his moving expenses because he was moving to another part of the country. And as a thank you to people who sent him money, he decided to send us items of his. And he put up a big old website of pictures of the stuff that you could get. And I chose, yep, it's these. I chose jarts. Now, I think it's like illegal to actually use these to bring them to the park and try to use them because people got killed by using them. I mean, they're lawn darts, but I needed to have these because I remember them from my childhood, and it's just like something to hang up on my geek wall. Like you can see over there, I got the hoverboard, and there's a Tron figure over there, and all this nerdy stuff, right? And I figure I'll just put this up on the wall with all of that stuff, just as a collector's item. Because how cool is that, right? I mean, maybe I'm the only one who thinks it's awesome. I don't know, but I think jarts are great. And there's something else in here. Oh, is this a Captain Morgan t-shirt? I don't know. It's compressed, but it has a t-shirt on it. I'll have to open that in a second. It looks like there's something else in here that I might have missed. Or not. Okay, not a problem, not a problem. So, yeah, let's see what's in here. I mean, yeah, I haven't really been a booze drinker in a very long time. It just like 2-3 years ago, my taste for alcohol just gone. I don't know why. It just went away, which is fine. I mean, it's not like I was an alcoholic or anything. Like if I had a drink a month, it was remarkable. So, you know, but it does say Captain Morgan on here. And that is my favorite booze mahal, my favorite rum. How does anyone know? It's like a super compressed t-shirt or something. Oh, I see. It unfolds like that. It unravels. Yeah. Man, I'm going to have to wash this to get all those wrinkles out. But what do we got here? Yeah. Well, I guess Captain Morgan's number one. It says Captain. Oh, that's the back, isn't it? Here we go. Yeah. Awesome. I do love. Well, I'm feeling myself up. I do love a good t-shirt. You know me. And so this is pretty cool. I was not expecting this as an extra. So thank you. Purple rhymes with orange. So yeah. Oh, by the way, I don't have a lawn. My condo complex has a small courtyard, a very small courtyard, but there's no grass there, so it's not like I'll be flinging darts around. Yeah, but and I suppose I could bring them to the park. Yeah, I suppose I could bring them to the park, but I also suspect that someone somewhere will object. So, like I said, I'm just gonna put those up on the geek shelf wall, the lawn darts. So, that's everything. This is a fairly short video, I suppose, for unboxing. Ordinarily, it'd be even shorter, just because I'd be doing all the editing and everything. But this time around, I figured not, because, like I said, I'm bored and I want to do something in real time. And honestly, editing videos, if you haven't done it, you have no idea how much freaking work it is. And it gets, what's the word? Oh, yes, old. So I decided against that. I am tempted to try to add some extra people in here and keep the chat going. But, I mean, I don't know. I haven't actually live streamed much when it wasn't somebody else's responsibility. Well, you know, like someone else started it. So, I mean, I could just end now. Let me like see if there's anyone on the tweeters who wants to come in, people I know well enough. Apparently not. Oh, well, I guess I could just end now. It feels a waste, actually, to end now. So, what have people been up to? You know, I wonder, because how are people coping with the whole coronavirus quarantine thing? I mean, first of all, does anyone in the audience have it? Like you're talking to us from your hospital room? You know, and that's one for the blooper reel, I guess. Or are you just sort of bunkered up like I am and kind of wishing that the rest of the world hadn't gone all psycho panic on the friggin' SpaghettiOs? You know what I mean? Like I haven't had, I like SpaghettiOs with the meatballs, right? And I haven't had those in almost a month because people panic bought all of it. all of it. I was able to get like discount generic, not actually SpaghettiOs, and they kind of sucked. So, I'm not happy. I am glad though. One of you sent me a bunch of Milky Way bars a while back, and I've been doling them out to myself like one every other day, give or take. And that's helped because it's comfort food and all, but man, I feel so boring right now. Yeah. Does anyone have anything interesting to talk about? I don't really because if people aren't with the thing and the stuff, man, I'm tired of being cooped up. I've said it before. I'm having a hard time knowing what day of the week it is anymore because no one's doing anything. You know what I mean? No one's okay. Yeah. You say we all feel boring at the moment. I don't mean I feel bored. I mean, I feel boring. Like I'm not all that entertaining at the moment. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But there is a thing with the thing. There's a couple of chats here on the tweeters, and I can tell people, hey, if you want to join in, let me do that. Join in. I hope that works. Because like I said, I've never done this when it wasn't somebody else's stream, so I've never had to invite people into one before. Yeah. And who knows? If enough folks show up, perhaps I'll start a game of Quiplash, which, again, I've never done. At least not when I was there ought to be a word for it. The Stream Lord. I am not like I am today, the Stream Lord, where, someone else has always been. And the technical details of streaming, it's not my thing. I usually do the edited videos. That's a thing. So yeah. Oh, yeah. People like the t-shirt. I'm actually a little afraid sometimes, or not afraid. Let's call it bashful to walk around in this shirt. So in a city that's so full of people who actually speak Spanish as their primary language. I'm afraid someone will take it as an insult, especially if they don't know the reference to Faulty Towers. If you do know Faulty Towers, it's a pretty awesome shirt, but I'd hate for people to think that it's but whatever. It's not like I will get beat up for wearing it. In fact, I've noticed that there is a surprisingly small amount of racism in this town. I'll be honest, when I moved here, I thought that it would be all people hating on Mexicans, and not so much, actually. People, I have not noticed racism in this town, and I'm glad. I'm really glad, because, man, how sucky would that be, right? Or maybe I'm just not looking in the right places, or the wrong places, as it were, but I've still not noticed it. Hell, I haven't even really noticed any homophobia unless it's Pride and there's people out there with the signs telling us all to repent. I don't know about you, but I've never pented in the first place. Has any hands up if you've ever pented, right? Okay, well, we got ourselves a Diana Clarion, also known as the Lavender Lady, or apparently the Crazy Cat Lady here today.
Hi there.
How are you? What's up? What's new? What's happening?
Oh, trying to keep the initiative together to be out from under the blankets, that sort of thing.
Right. Yeah. I'm just trying to, stay mentally together, I guess. Because after a while, let's put it this way. Yesterday, I got a check in the mail and I was like, woohoo, an excuse to go out. I'm going to deposit this. So, yeah. When that's the highlight of your week.
Yeah.
Am I right? Am I right?
Indeed.
I think I'm right. So, Yeah.
Yeah, the whole excitement and initiative and everything is why you see me here in my nightgown,
Yes. Well, I'm more of the oversized t-shirt and sweats when it comes to jammies, but
Okay.
that's me. I also have a like a sports jersey for like inline hockey that a friend of mine gave me like 10 years ago, and I
Oh,
sometimes use that if it's really really cold out because it's oddly warm.
yeah, it's quite warm here. It's also doing the thunderstorm thing,
Well, not
but
here. It's not.
it's in the 70s.
Oh, I hated the 70s. I'm so glad I was only 5 through the 70s. But,
Oh boy.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know really how I feel about the 70s. There were a couple of good points, but there was a lot of suckiness going on too. So
Well, I could go the rest of my life and die happy, never again hearing disco or seeing a leisure suit.
I'm with you.
But so there's that. There's that. Incidentally, how's my sound? The last time I tried to do this, I was going through OBS and it made my microphones made me sound like a robot.
So far, so good.
Okay, so maybe I'll use StreamYard from now on, even though OBS has more versatility, especially when you know how to use it. Poke.
Oh, you're not talking to anybody I know, are you?
No, not at all, not at all. But yeah, so I, like if I can figure out the mic issues on OBS, I could make it all pretty like some people do. I don't know if any of you are subscribed to Cirrus, but he makes his OBS very pretty.
Yes, he do. Yes, he do.
So
I aspire to have my stuff look as good as his, but yeah, I've I've more or less discerned that my microphone problems lie within the microphone.
Hardware failures.
I've tried it on 2 different computers, 3 different operating systems, same result every time. So I'm thinking, okay, I think I know what's wrong. So yeah, I just pulled it off and it's going to stay off and I'll deal with that later.
So Jesse Shovedel, whose name I'm gonna butcher, Shodell, I don't know, wants to know something from my childhood that no longer exists that I wish still did. Well, I mean, there are a lot of things from my childhood that still exist technically, but which are not popular anymore, and those I miss. For example, new wave music. Like I'm trying to come up with a good band name because lately I've been listening to a lot of because it was it New Retro Wave is a channel here on YouTube that has a bunch of people making 80s new wave style music, but it's new. And some of it is really really good. So if you go to New Retro Wave, check it out. I especially recommend a couple of different bands like Wolf Club is a good one. There's one, oh god, what is it called? New Arcades is a good one. Bands like that, really good stuff. So I miss that. Gosh, what else? I don't know. There's other stuff. I mean, I'm sure there's stuff like, okay, entertainment in the 80s was a hell of a lot more upbeat than it is now. And I miss that a lot. I mean, one of, where is it? Oh, I don't know. Oh, here it is. Bumble Bee. Okay, recent movie that actually felt like something out of my childhood. Okay, because basically, if you've seen E.T., imagine if instead of an alien, it was a robot. You got yourself Bumblebee. And it is a really good flick. I was nearly in tears through most of it through nostalgia.
Oh my.
Holy, what the heck is knock? N-O-K? But whatever it is, it's 20 of it. So thank you, Yamato Arntzen. Sure. It says, long live the old era. Its time will come again. Well, there is a wave of 80s nostalgia these days. I remember back in the 90s, there was all the 70s nostalgia, but 80s nostalgia is sweeping us. I mean, neon colors are back, grids are back. It's awesome. So there's that.
Okay, here we go. An OK is a Norwegian krone, which one of them is 9.5 US cents.
Okay, so that's about $2 then?
Sounds about right.
Okay, well, that's cool. Thank you. Thank you. That's actually, believe it or not, my very first super chat ever. So you win a Bionic Dance Internet.
Yay!
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. In fact, I've noticed a lot of people on the YouTubes make way more money from super chats than they do from ad revenue, which doesn't shock me.
Oh, yeah.
Ad revenue, I'm lucky to get $70-$80 a month in ad revenue. And that's on a month where I put out a double wide buttload of videos, right? The real money for me, at least, is on Patreon. So if you're feeling generous, and mind you, you know what? Fuck that. I should not be shilling during this crisis for your money. Fuck that. No. Besides,
I get the feeling. I get how you feel on that. But you've got to make a living too.
True.
Balance that.
But also my expenses are really low. Like I know I've mentioned this on your channel a couple of times, that my living expenses are taken care of, and so are my medical expenses, which means that I really only have to feed myself at the moment. So most of the money I get goes right into the bank. Mind you, I do have other expenses as well. I mean, there's obviously feeding the cats, for example, and all of that. But in the end, I usually end each month with a surplus. And I just filed my federal taxes. $46. I owed the government $46. And as a result, I should be getting that 1.2 grand check that they're sending to people. Right?
Yeah.
So that, well, of course, now it's going to be what? 1,154?
Yeah, well, what are they going to do? Are they going to pay take your tax bill out of it and then give you the rest? Is that it?
No, I was mostly being facetious.
Oh, okay. No,
I'm saying the net total will be.
Well, yeah.
But they will be taking out the 46 and then putting in the 1,200. And that is one thing you do end up, if you feel like it, giving them your bank account information so they can do direct deposits.
Well, they already have mine because I'm on Social Security and I've been getting direct deposit for years. So,
well, they're encouraging us to self-quarantine, which I guess would be anti-Social Security, really.
Pretty much. The darn thing with that is that with that whole quarantining and everything, I need quarters, 25-cent pieces. And I don't know if my credit union is open because I really need to buy quarters to do my laundry. You see, I live in an apartment, and even though we do have the machines downstairs, they're not free. So I have to get off my dead butt and do that and see if I can get the quarters.
So,
okay, what do we have here?
That's probably true. Cats on YouTube make money. Maybe I should start featuring my cats in my thumbnails or something.
There you go.
Alice Dell here said, yeah, I have a tendency to go all honey badger on people when they call me Katie. Don't do that. I will find you and I will light you on fire. Right. Also, the only person who calls me Catherine is my mom when she's pissed. I know she's angry at me if she starts calling me Catherine.
Okay,
so,
then.
Yeah,
I know that. Didn't Stool try calling you Katie yesterday?
Yes, he did.
And then, of course, I called you Catherine. So.
Yeah, see, that is one of the things about like telling people, yeah, don't call me Katie. The next thing you know, everyone, their hamster's doing it. It's like complaining on the internet is a little bit of Russian roulette, because sometimes people will take you as you mean it and talk to you like a normal person and all of this stuff and take what you have to say into account. And then sometimes they use it as a cudgel with which to torment and taunt you.
Okay, then.
Huh.
Interesting idea, Von Reck. Who says so? Send SpaghettiOs.
You know, you can try. I mean, that's the thing is I went on Amazon and started looking for all the stuff that I wanted that I couldn't find in the supermarket, and it was all gone too. And the stuff that wasn't gone, they couldn't have delivered through Amazon Prime. You had to get it through like Amazon Fresh or whatever the frig it's called. And through that, they schedule an appointment to have the car come to you to deliver.
Yeah.
And of course, everyone's already booked every possible window to get your stuff. So yeah, no SpaghettiOs for the Cape Monster until they're in stock in a brick and mortar store.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, I may have to go out and see if there are any SpaghettiOs here and see if I can FedEx them to you.
Well, and part of the problem, of course, I did find some SpaghettiOs while people were still panicking right away, like the first initial panicking, but they were the ones with the little hot dogs in them instead of meatballs. And who wants SpaghettiOs Franks or plain SpaghettiOs? No. I want me to SpaghettiOs with the meatballs. Those are the good SpaghettiOs.
Well, those little hot dogs that come in the SpaghettiOs remind me too much of the Vienna sausages. Have you ever seen those?
I'm familiar with them, yes.
I wouldn't come near them personally. They're crap. But yeah, it's kind of that eerie similarity. That's the word I'm looking for.
Well, I'm always, and no, this is not a lesbian thing. I am not being euphemistic here. I'm always a little wary of sausages because you never necessarily know what's in them. You know,
right.
And I don't just mean like, oh yeah, we put all the lips and assholes in this one. No, I mean like traditionally, this particular sausage is made with pig intestine. I'm just like, I don't you know, I want like this is spicy steak in tube form, you know? That's
okay, no spam past its expiration date, huh?
Right. Like, does spam have an expiration date?
I think it's in millennia. I'm thinking so, but like, I don't know. It depends on how I'm feeling. I actually do occasionally eat the stuff. And when I say occasionally, I mean every few years. It's not that bad when it's fried. You know, eating the stuff right out of the can.
It's bad enough when it's fried.
Oh, Tiptoe the rat. Yes. Braunschweiger. Yum.
Which where of the what now?
Okay, Tiptoe the rat says liver sausage.
I
will eat that up. Yes, the head cheese you can have.
I mean, okay. This is kind of stupid of me, I guess, maybe a little naive, but when I first heard that people ate liver, some part of my brain did not connect the fact that they literally meant the organ, right? I thought it was just a nasty cut of meat, because there are a lot of things out there where they have a name that's the same as the name of something else, and it turns out to be like a euphemism or something, or a synonym, but it's not, or no, sorry, a homonym, but it's not the same word. And so like when I actually found out, no, they literally mean a liver, I was like, well, who the frig eats that? Like, I try to avoid organs and eat like flesh and muscle and stuff. But yeah, so I mean, That was so creepy and then I hear about people eating tongue and I'm like, really?
Oh, wow. Oh, I love tongue. I really do.
Uh,
It's not as horrible as most people think it is,
no,
really.
but the very concept of eating that bit of something.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I don't eat tongue very often is it's expensive. It's about $6 or $7 a pound.
You'd think that'd be the most inexpensive bit on an animal. It's like, I mean, maybe it's because there's so little of it per cow, but even so,
Maybe. I mean, heart is cheap, maybe about $2 a pound, and I think it's a great meat for things like meat pies, other stuff like that, where you can have a nondescript meat product. It doesn't have to be a pot roast or a steak or anything like that. It only has to be meat.
well, okay, one thing that really knocked me out, because
Mm.
again, with the whole, do they really mean that? They can't possibly mean that. Part of my brain that looked at ingredients was when I heard about iron really is the metal. Like you actually literally want to ingest metal. And I'm like,
Well,
well, then I mean, obviously you're not going to snack down on an iron ingot or anything. But
right.
I remember in science class, the teacher took this sort of capsule-sized magnet that had been painted white and threw it in like some instant oatmeal and shook it up and pulled it back out and is covered in these little tiny flecks of actual iron. And I was like, that is creepy as hell.
Yeah, the way I'm usually accustomed to it being dispensed is as ferrous sulfate, iron dissolved in sulfuric acid, and then
But
precipitated out.
but the part that broke my brain was that we're literally eating metal. Like
Yeah,
some part
I
of me
mean,
thought, oh, this has to be something else. It can't possibly really be I
yeah,
don't
the
know.
iron is responsible for oxygen transport in the blood. Iron is the basis of hemoglobin.
Oh, I mean, I know that now, but when I was little, I thought for sure there had to be two different kinds of iron.
Well, I mean, there is that kind that you make railroad tracks from, and then there's the kind that you get the wrinkles out of your clothes with. No,
Yeah, but you know what I mean. I mean,
yeah,
I thought for sure there had to be like, I,
I'm being a bitch.
I don't know. It's just because when people talk about vitamins and minerals, like I was
They mean
little,
minerals,
my
yeah,
age was the single digits, and I'm going, well, minerals are rocks. We're not literally eating rocks, are we? But apparently, yes, we
pretty
are. It's
much, pretty
crazy.
much.
Um,
Mistress Angelica, she said, can't imagine eating organs. I was raised by Eastern Europeans. We will eat anything. Okay, so this is how my babka, my granny, got 4 kids through the Depression, with kidney and with liver and with other things like that. It was the cheap stuff. At that time, it was anyway. I mean, now you have to pay for soup bones, but then the butcher would give the damn things to you. And I learned to like that stuff. I mean, like, not tolerate. I mean, like. But I can imagine that a lot of people would say, "What the hell are you eating?" I'm going to grab my coffee. Hang on a second, would you?
all right. Well, at some point, I should probably get some more caffeine. I'm out of Red Bull, by the way. I should actually put Red Bull on my Amazon wish list. That might be a good idea. I'm sure they have it. But then again, if it's in the same part
Yay.
of Amazon as the stuff I can't get delivered because it's groceries and
Oh my
all the
word.
panicking people have taken all the groceries, perhaps I can't put Red Bull on my wish list. But you know what? I was able to put the Doc Brown celery on my wish list at one point, and so it seems to me.
There we are.
Let's see. Now, the problem with putting stuff on your Amazon wish list is you're never sure, like, should I shoot for the moon and order the biggest thing possible and risk people not wanting to send it to me? Or should I, put the really small stuff on there and hope and add multiple small ones on there, in the hopes that more people will send me less. Not that anyone owes me any damn thing, obviously, but I remember once though, I put something on my wish list that was like $600, and someone said, "Why would you put that on? You're presumptuous as hell." And I'm like, it's a wish list. I'm wishing for these things. Maybe someone will buy it for me. Maybe someone won't, but there's no reason not to try.
Well, the chair upon which you park yourself was largesse from the wish list, wasn't it?
No.
Okay.
I bought the chair myself. It was on sale, and I figured, what the hell, I can afford this. And I needed a new chair because my old one was starting to get uncomfy.
I need a new chair. You can see I'm in one of my crappy little wooden chairs here. The funny thing was that my desk chair, my office chair, split. You know that plate that holds the chair onto the floor stand part?
Sure.
That broke in half. And I don't know, did I gain that much weight or what? But that metal plate actually split.
It would have been indelicate of me to bring up the weight thing, so I'm glad you did.
I've lost a good bit. I'd like to lose a little bit more. Last I checked, I came in at 210, so I do weigh a little bit more than you do. And that's probably one of the reasons that thing split, because I was as high as 240. I was amazed when I was in Kentucky in July to find out that Ahran Rob and I came into the same weight.
Well, actually, it's a little hard to tell from Ahran Rob how much of that is muscle and how much isn't. He was looking fairly svelte at Faithless Forum last year.
Okay, then. Yeah, he wears it well. He really does. I don't wear it so well.
And muscle is more dense than fat. So I mean, if Ahran is, pumped, then a lot of that weight is worth it, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks like someone who could very much be pumped.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, Alistair, he does indeed. Mm-hmm. Great hair. It was just posted a little bit ago on Twitter. What was it? The quote was from Ahran that he hates Neil, the 604 atheist, because Neil has better hair than Ahran does.
You know what that reminds me of is when Weird Al came out with the song "Dare to Be Stupid."
Yeah, okay.
And Devo contacted him and said, "We absolutely hate you because you made the perfect Devo song and we didn't." Which is absolutely brilliant. I love that. It's funny though, to hear the people talk about Weird Al. There's some artists out there who do not want him anywhere near their material, and there's others though who are like, I had no idea I'd made it until Weird Al did a parody of my shit.
I mean, personally, I would be thrilled if I had made something and then Al parodied it.
Yeah, I'm still mildly miffed that he never did anything from my favorite band. Not even one of his polka medleys. He didn't have any of their stuff in there. One he says, "Yeah, okay, it would be an awesome story. Would be someone who starts a band or gets famous for making movies or something, and they get more and more famous until finally, they're famous enough to start hanging out with other stars, and they get themselves into a party or something where Weird Al is in attendance and make friends with him specifically to request that he makes a parody of a song by their favorite band, which he hasn't done yet. And like, that's the whole reason this person acquired as much fame as they did, was to make that request of Weird Al.
That would be a point in Weird Al's favor. Yeah.
Flip Bubbles there. You're saying, how do people send me stuff? Well, there's one very particular method through my Amazon wish list. There's a link in the description of every video because I'm a greedy little fucker. And you click on the link to my Amazon wish list, there'll be a bunch of items. Now, as I understand it, a way to send someone something that's not on their wish list is to add something from their wish list into your cart. Go find the other item that's not in their wish list, add that to your cart, then remove the item that was from the wish list, and that should attach the other person's address onto that purchase. People have sent me some pretty wacky stuff. And yeah, like a lot of food items have shown up, and I've said I should really tell people what I don't eat just so nothing's wasted.
Okay, then.
But yeah, what Roxette song would I have Weird Al parody? Gosh, that's difficult, you know, because there's so many good ones, and also there's ones that like a lot of people don't even know. So there's that. Some of their more famous ones are like "Listen to Your Heart" from the Pretty Woman soundtrack, and then there's "The Look," which a lot of people think is "She's Got the Look," and that is the lyric, but the song itself is called "The Look." You know, and then there's like "Listen to Your Heart" and all of that, you know, "Listen for the fart" when, I don't know. It's Weird Al could do a listen for the fart, because he totally would. I mean, given some of the vulgar stuff he's put out there that we love him for. I don't know. I mean, like, I don't think he would ever do my favorite song, which is "Fading Like a Flower," because I don't know what you'd do with that. But yeah, so that's probably.
That's an interesting little thing you've got there, Carl. I did not know that was the story of Like a Surgeon.
Is it though? I mean, I know that was part of an episode of How I Met Your Mother, but I don't know, is that reality as well? Did they steal that from reality?
Is maybe, I don't know. Alice Dell, yes, that is indeed. Well, it's not emptied. It's just that the fish are invisible. No, the aquarium is empty.
Oh, of course it's not empty. It's full of air.
Yes. I've been wanting to do something with that ever since I moved into this place 2 years ago. And it's just the thing that other things have been more important in the list of things to do and things to get. So I don't know. I would consider, but then I would hate to do it, using part of the look who's there. Hi, sweetness, sweet kitty. I would consider using part of the stimulus money as far as an aquarium goes, but that seems like such a shitty use for it, you know? One would think that one might use it for necessities. Well, yeah, grow shrooms. There we go.
I mean, I have necessities that are mostly paying the electric bill and food and hookers and all of that stuff. So, I mean, you know, I have never said it on my channel how lucky I actually am, you know, because my parents made some very smart investments a while ago, and they ended up making a fair amount of money, which is why I have this condo instead of a studio. And so there's that. And but oddly, because I make so little money from Patreon and YouTube and all of that, technically I make less than minimum wage. But despite that, I have a fair amount in the bank where I could survive several months with no YouTube revenue if I had to. But because I make
Don't push it. Don't push it.
technically, no, I'm not going to. But because I make less than minimum wage, I also qualify for full medical benefits, which is why the brain surgery that stopped the seizures cost me not a red cent out of pocket.
That's amazing. It really
I've
is.
often said that I am the living embodiment of what socialism could be like for the ordinary person. Because if you don't have to worry about certain expenses, if a lot of your stuff is paid for, you do really well. Like if you're not worrying about rent and medical bills, just that is enough to make you feel filthy, stinking rich.
Yeah, really. I'm lucky that I have what I have. I live in a Section 8 unit. They call it a 1-bedroom. I call it studio and library. I don't sleep in my bedroom because there are 800 books back there. So I do all my living out here. But what's really nice about it is for $240 a month, I can have enough to get by, if you want to call it that. I could use some extra space, but I'm not going to die without it.
I still say you need to go digital with your books, damn it.
Yeah, Flip Bubbles. I'm sorry, not Flip. Malata. Yeah, only 800. When I moved into the place I was living in before this one, I got rid of about 150 books because I knew that 950 books wouldn't fit in there. And it's between 800 and 850 right now. I don't remember the exact count. Yeah, what would really be nice is if I had a higher ceiling and I could have a loft bed and then have some of my desk and stuff under the bed. That would help free up some space, that sort of thing.
Still, I mean, I am so glad I went Kindle and I'm not looking back because, there are so many advantages to being able to carry a whole library around with you. And
yeah, there are. Yeah.
When you accidentally drop it, if it doesn't like shatter because you dropped it from too high, and they are fairly durable, then you won't lose your page. You won't lose your place. You won't end up getting spoilers because you flipped too far to see where you were and all of that. It's just so much easier.
Mm-hmm. One of the problems I have is that a lot of the books I have are not ebook. They are not available as ebooks. I've got some stuff that's like 75 years old and that sort of thing, and not collectible.
Well, have you done a search for them? Because there's a lot of books out there that are not available, like say on the Kindle store, that you can still get.
Well, titles like Compiler Construction for Digital Computers, published in 1967, is not available. There's stuff like that.
Fiction that you can get.
There's my thing, though. I do have fiction, but nowhere near as much fiction as nonfiction. I do like some of the fiction, but I'm kind of picky when it comes to fiction. So that, Vonnegut. Oh, I love Vonnegut. Jules Verne, yes. But the stuff that's usually available in the supermarket shelves, no, I'm not getting near that. It's usually crap.
Yeah, but most of those are like open shirt on the cover romance novels. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever bought a book at a supermarket. Why would anyone?
Well, that was just a little, a very bad description, but something to say because I couldn't think of anything else. Oh, you're a practicing alcoholic. Yeah, I was a practicing Catholic for years, and I never did get it right, so I figured atheism was for me,
Yeah, I often am a little disturbed by doctors saying that they have a practice And I'm like, I would very much like it if you were doing it for real before you got to me.
Yeah, practice on me. I mean, I've got more life behind me than ahead of me, so it really doesn't matter if you screw up, you know?
Well, you know me, I'm going to live forever or die trying. Yes, and I'm going out like I came in, kicking and screaming.
A lot of media. Yeah, pretty much. Catholics make good pagans and atheists, definitely. In my particular case, I've said this on my channel more than once. I didn't have a hard time deconverting, as it were, because the Catholicism to which I was exposed didn't have much theology attached to it. It was, mostly ritual. And there was nothing that was really, 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 really drilled into me. I mean, they tried, don't get me wrong, but what they had to offer just didn't take that well.
So here's the thing. I love Elfquest, obviously. I adore it, but I cannot read comics in digital form. That's the one place where I say, you know what? No. Because on my Kindle, I was finding that like holding it, the words were too small. I couldn't read it. So I was constantly zooming in, scrolling, zooming out, scrolling, zooming back in, scroll. It was such a pain to read a comic on a device like that. Maybe on the screen, maybe on the computer, but still. Mind you, I did fall very far behind on Elfquest, and I should probably catch myself up. What's really cool, though, is the creators of Elfquest are Facebook friends.
Oh, so, well then, how do you like that?
Yes. Wendy and Richard Peeney are friends of mine on Facebook. We don't chat much. I mean, I hesitate to really call them friends, but you don't really have Facebook acquaintances now, do you?
Not really, no. But Mulata, the ritual really does pull you in, the Latin, the candles, the incense. That's the stuff I remember from my Catholic days. And then I was an altar boy. So that's another one of the little things that, for those of you who don't know, I am trans. There were my boy days, and now there are my girl days, and the girl days are much better. It's,
I can almost understand being into it for the ritual, I remember having sort of like silly rituals as a kid with my other friends. Like there was this thing where one of us would say, "Hey, you want to buy a duck?" "A what?" "A duck." "Does it quack?" "Of course it quacks." And it was just this thing we'd randomly do every now and then. It's kind of like those complicated handshakes that people do,
Okay, then.
And I'm like, I get why that's fun. I get latching onto that. And if it's attached to this community and it's attached to I need to do these things to save my soul and also to feel really happy in the presence of the Lord or whatever it is, like I can understand that. I mean, I don't understand believing there's a Lord, but I can understand loving a ritual. I totally get that.
I mean, some of my favorite memories are Easter Vigil Mass and Christmas Midnight Mass. The pageantry. It was an entire production.
Well, if we're going to talk about Mass, I really enjoyed Mass Effect.
Okay.
I don't know. One of these days, I probably should go back and replay the Mass Effect series because I never did finish 3.
Oh my.
But those were pretty good games. I think I really love the aesthetic of it, and it manages to not be that sort of grim dark that everything does these days. And I really enjoyed it. Mind you, there were a couple of dark moments, like I want to say it's the first one. You had to choose between 2 different characters to sacrifice one of them for the greater good. And that choice follows you into the next game. Like if you import your profile from the first game, they level you all the hell the way down. I guess it'd be too easy if they didn't. But they take the way you shaped your character's face and all of that stuff. And also those choices, those hard choices you had to make for the plot. And so if you killed off the one dude or the one chick in the first game, they will come back and, like, the one that survived will come back and talk to you about where they've been since in their life. It's interesting the way the sequel has that continuity. I like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my. Oh
no,
my,
I haven't played
my.
Mass Effect Andromeda. I didn't even know that was a thing. In fact, when someone says Andromeda, the first thing I think about is that horrible Kevin Sorbo series. Mind you, I only watched two or three episodes of Andromeda, but honestly, I was watching it just a rip off of Farscape, right? So,
oh my. Tia Lisa, I feel it definitely. I miss singing as well. I was in a couple of choirs, the college choir and the church choir at once. I just loved, I did some solo work as well. I'm a trained bass baritone. And that's one of the very few things, one of the very few downsides to my transitioning. Because
you say you did a lot of
it just doesn't go along with a rack the size of a city bus, okay?
What? So you said you did a lot of solo work, but what about the Skywalker work?
Well, that too, yeah.
Yeah, Andromeda was also a Gene Roddenberry show. But even so, it honestly, watching it, I was going, okay, so you've got this ship that's got a sentient computer and a bunch of outlaws have taken it over. And there's a guy who's completely displaced from his original life and all this. I'm just watching it going, wow, this is just Farscape in Roddenberry form. So, I mean, yeah. And plus the added drag of Kevin Sorbo. Oh,
so. Yeah, I was just about to say that, Tom. That's pretty much the plot of Red Dwarf.
No, it's not the plot of Red Dwarf because they're not criminals. Red Dwarf was never taken over by criminals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now, yes, Farscape, a lot of fun. Although I got it after a while, I start to really hate the theme song. Oof. Can't stand the theme song. But other than that, I mean, because it's got this, it's very, I guess the word for it is discordant. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But yeah, didn't care for it. Mind you, I had the world's biggest crush on Chiana, but that's another story entirely. Ah, Chiana. Very likable. Mind you, she's also Trouble. Why am I so attracted to Trouble? I don't get it. Like, I'm always attracted to the sort of outsider punk chicks, and that never goes well.
Okay, so this is how I know.
No. We're talking actual criminals. We're talking like Han Solo wannabe smugglers here. Like Lister was put in cryostasis because he brought a cat on board. That's the only reason. It's not like a super mega crime. But we're talking about people where, yeah, I was in prison and I stole stuff and I would like hijack ships and all of that. So we're talking hardened criminals here, not a guy who just wanted to bring a cat with him. So no, it's nothing like Red Dwarf.
Oh my.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, and then okay, I know this is how I know I'm a good girl, Kate. This is how I know that I'm not Trouble.
Well, okay. There is someone. Gosh, I don't want to name names here, but if I say too much, I will also tell people who it is. Let's just say that there's someone out there online who I have recently found attractive, who, even if we were local to each other, she and I might actually get along really well, but it would still go badly because of other circumstances, and that's a shame.
Okay.
I'm trying not to let if I gave any more details, people go, oh, that's who you mean. So I don't want to do that.
Right. Yeah.
I don't want to do that. But yeah.
Yeah, and that's a pretty horrible thing to see or to have or to realize, that sort of thing. Yeah. I mean, I get that kind of feeling as well about somebody, but what are you going to do?
Complain mostly. Oops,
Yeah.
that was not the one I was trying to highlight. Damn it, things are jumping around. There we go. How did Firefly not get more seasons? Well, it's the same problem that a lot of shows had, is when it was new, when it was on the air, not enough people cared, and it gained a cult status after it was canceled. That happened to a lot of shows.
Mm-hmm.
It's very frustrating, where it's like, oh, people love this now. Well, shame it didn't keep on. And it didn't help that Firefly was really expensive to produce. That didn't help. One thing I am looking forward to, though, season 3 of the Orville. Mind you, it's not coming for quite some time, and who knows if the pandemic is going to delay it even further. I hope not. But it's moved to Hulu exclusively. So now, being on an online platform, they are not constrained by FCC regulations on language. They are not constrained by episode length. They don't have to have commercials. So it will probably change the show a bit. Now, I hadn't thought of it at first, given that its release is until the end of this year or something. Or maybe it's 2021 even. I don't know. It's a really long wait for season 3 of the Orville. But if you remember what they do with shows like Orange is the New Black, they release all of it at once. All of it. It's not an episode a week or anything with a couple of reruns. No, they finish an entire season and then give it to you to binge watch. And I'm wondering if that's why the Orville season 3 is so delayed, is because they're going to make all of it at once and release all of it at once. And I would prefer if they doled it out to us an episode a week if we got it sooner. But, Okay, favorite episode of the Orville. That's a toughie because there are probably 2 that are very much in the running, and they're actually some of the least sci-fi episodes. They're actually more like character drama and even tearjerker at times. And those would be the episodes where they find the time capsule with the cell phone in it, and Gordon creates the simulation of the woman who owned the phone and ends up in a simulated romance with her. And how that one goes, that episode was really good. And also when Dr. Finn and Isaac got together and had to figure out how to have a human-robot relationship. And I thought that was handled really well, too. So, yeah, I really enjoyed those 2 episodes, probably the best out of all of them. Oh, well,
Tiptoe the Rat.
Later, have fun.
Yeah, be good.
If you can't be good, don't get caught.
There you go.
Have fun storming the castle. Have you finished that, by the way?
Who, me?
The Princess Bride.
I have not got the rest of it yet. I guess what I'm going to end up doing is when I remember to do it, I'll just buy the darn thing if I can get it from Amazon, if I can trust that it'll be delivered to me. And then I do want to see the rest of it because that first part of it was pretty darn good.
Well, yeah, I can't believe that you hadn't seen that. I mean, that's just crazy. That's like a staple of the last couple of decades.
Yeah, I just don't see that many films. It's pretty much the way it works out. So no matter whether I would like it or not, I just don't see it because I simply don't. the money I would spend going to a theater, I can spend somewhere else, or the money I would spend, say, on a streaming service or something, I can spend somewhere else.
Well, one thing I noticed they're doing now is because everyone's staying home and because Hollywood needs to make their money somehow on the movies that aren't released yet or that are being released during a pandemic, is they're now starting up, you can rent the movie online instead of going to the theater.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So
might be worth a try.
That is definitely something, because there are a couple of movies coming out that I actually really want to see. I'm prepared to be disappointed by the Top Gun sequel, but I still really want to see it. And maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. My bar for success is very low. If there's some kick and dog fights and the Top Gun anthem, I'll be happy.
Okay, then.
That's it. That's all I need. Because that will feed my nostalgia. I understand that like 2 cast members are coming back. And actually, no, okay. 2 members of the original cast are coming back, but at least 3 characters are going to be on screen, one of whom had 0 lines in the original movie, namely Goose's son is going to be a member of the cast.
Oh,
he's going to be a fighter pilot. And yes, Ghostbusters is another one I'm looking forward to. I'm hoping they handle it well, because they have a tendency to not handle like long overdue sequels particularly well. So there's that. And there was another one. It's a Ryan Reynolds movie. For the life of me, I cannot remember the name of it, but it's where he discovers that he's an NPC in a video game, and it's an online game that's about to be shut down. And so he has to figure out a way to keep himself and his world alive.
Hey, that sounds interesting.
At least that's the plot as it was described to me. I've seen a tiny bit of a trailer, and it actually looks hilarious. Like he's sitting there at a cafe, just drinking coffee or whatever, talking to a friend, and all of a sudden this speeding car goes by and like takes out another table, and all these people are dead. And he just sits there like, drinking his coffee, acting like nothing happened. Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun, and I kind of want to see it. So there's that. Nothing else has jumped out at me recently, trailer wise, is something I need to see. It's pretty much just those 3. I can do numbers.
There you go. Yeah, originally that was 4. So
yeah. Oh, have you ever had the discussion with people about the different ways to flip the bird?
You were speaking at me?
Yeah.
Or the audience? Oh yes. Yeah.
Anybody.
Oh yeah.
Because there are so many different ways. There's make a fist, stick it up. There's also the one where you I can do it on this side, where you like this instead of this, where the knuckles are up. And then there's also the people who stick out a thumb or don't, and all of that. There's like so many different ways to flip someone the bird. And
then I remember a friend's son had an interesting way to do it. This was years ago, which was this, which was "May you die a virgin."
Well, and then of course there's the creative ways that people do it. There's
yes,
right, and then there's and that. And so, I mean, there's so many different ways. And yeah, people are mentioning like the different ways they do it in other countries. I mean, I understand that this is one that you don't want to do in Britain.
Right.
And, things like that. And then, of course, there's all of that. And yeah.
And then, okay, let's see. In Germany, you don't want to do this one because
I'm not sure you want to do that here anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that in Germany refers to what I'm sitting on right now. Yeah.
Well, if you do it this way, apparently in ASL, that's asshole. Like that.
Okay. Yeah.
But then, of course, if you do it below your waist, now all of a sudden you're a white supremacist, which
I don't
kind
know.
of
Is that
screws
the
up the
real thing
circle
or?
game. Because it used to be if you do that below your waist and get someone to look at it, you get to punch them. That's the circle game.
Okay, I didn't know about that one.
Yeah.
I mean, recently when you've described it, that's how I know about it. I didn't know about it when I was like, knee high to a grasshopper or anything like that. Oh my, oh my, oh my, which was too long ago. I know. It's one of my problems.
There's so many different ways to honk people off just with
It was a
I mean,
creative one.
it's like in one country it means fuck you, in the other country it means steal third.
There you go. There was one that a friend of mine did. This was years and years ago. One of the more creative that I've seen. I've got to move myself back here a little bit, which sort of went like. I don't know. We were all high at the time, so.
Oh, speaking of which.
Hey, there you go.
If I get that bored, although I've noticed, like I actually decided with everyone like binge buying and panic buying and stuff, I figured I might as well stock up. So I got this and these for the rest of the apocalypse.
Okay,
So
then. How long do you figure the apocalypse is going to last?
Well, if Captain Trumpenstein has his way, a lot longer than it should.
Yeah, well, that too. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just got this right. This is strawberry shortcake, is what this is. That's what it's called. It's a hybrid, and so far I'm unimpressed. But what I've noticed is that if, like I've done it too often, the effect is very muted. So I should take a day or 3 off and then try it again before I really make a final judgment. The other two there, one of them is Diesel, and I'm trying to remember the name of the other one. I think it is Yellow in the name for some reason. Oh no, Forbidden Fruit. It is yellow, but it's called Forbidden Fruit.
I didn't know that.
This one's Diesel right here.
I didn't know that you could build a tolerance to that stuff.
Oh, it happens fast.
Oh, okay. Well, it's been a very long time since I've done any of that stuff, and again, with me, it's not that I have an aversion to it, but number one is affording it. I mean, my money can go to other places. And number two, since I quit smoking, I don't want to smoke any of it because A, I might cough my lungs out, and B, I might be that much more tempted to pick up the tobacco again. It's been a year and a half that I've been off, and I'm liking it. Okay.
Well, I've never really smoked tobacco. I tried one cigarette, never understood how anyone ever had a second one, because But this right here, it's not so bad, and it's non-addictive. That's helpful.
Yeah. That's the really interesting thing. I'm usually not the personality to become addicted to things. Tobacco was one of the very few. I was horribly addicted. Well, I smoked for 49 years, okay?
Someone in the chat said something, and now I can't find it, and I want to... Oh, this one right here. What in Hades is a chihuahua? What the frig is it?
Wait a minute. I want to find this thing to see how it's
spelled. On the screen. Right there on the screen.
Oh, there it is.
The closest I can get is cloaca, and I don't have one of those.
That's the first thing I thought was cloaca. Yeah.
Well, let's hop onto the chihuahua. Oops, no. I left off a bit. Here we go. Urban Dictionary. Here we go. Oh, a woman's vagina or the activity of getting a piece. Okay.
Oh. Okay.
So that's right. Forbidden fruit. Got it. Okay.
I've learned something today.
I thought forbidden fruit was a gay guy who said no.
At least
that's just
not I. Oh, Lord.
No.
Oh, my.
It's funny. Like I never thought I mean, I was a kid through the 80s. I remember Dare, right? Drug
Oh,
abuse,
geez.
resistant
Yes,
education,
yes.
all of that,
Yeah.
and like marijuana was this demon that like it's a gateway drug and all that stuff. And
Joe
now
Biden
we're
still
just
thinks it is.
casually ordering this stuff up from like a vendor that will deliver it right to your door. And it's like it's no big deal. The only big deal is how much it costs. Oh my gosh, this stuff is
Yeah.
so spendy.
That's the
Mind you,
amazing thing.
it's not so bad. I mean, this will last me at least a month right
Oh,
here,
okay.
maybe
Okay.
more. And I
Yeah, I
have the
think,
other two back there. The real killer is the taxes. Like the actual price. This was about $44, which isn't so bad, I guess. But with taxes, it's probably something like 52 after taxes. And keep in mind, I bought 3 of those. So tack all of that tax on top of the $44 per container.
my
Yeah,
Lord.
it
Yeah.
starts cranking up there a bit.
Oh my, it's not fun. Not fun at all. I can remember back in my younger days when you could get an ounce of Mexican for $10.
Hmm.
Mexican was considered the bargain basement of marijuana of weed, and you could just get it so cheap, and it got you there. I mean, you had to smoke a bit more of it than some of the others, but it
I
was affordable.
I will admit the one thing that weed doesn't really do unless you do a metric fuck ton of it is psychedelic effects.
Yeah, right.
That's the one thing I wish weed could do. Cause like, okay, I've done acid 3 times and it was an absolute blast, except for once, which was only okay. But I mean, I would love to have something like that in a more safe form. I understand there's legislation out there to try to legalize shrooms.
Oh, that's a start.
So there's that. I don't know. I mean, on the other hand, I do have my head meats to think of because they have been damaged at some point. That's what the whole brain surgery was all about. I'd like to avoid
Hmm.
that if I can. And I've heard about people being pretty fucked up permanently from acid. So, I had my experiences and now I'm going to stay away.
Yeah, it's. I suppose that if you are inclined that way, you can get your psychology messed up from say a bad trip, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, a bad trip isn't my idea of a good time anyway, but
No.
to be permanently fucked up from something like that, no, not fun.
Although I would very much like to do like the first time I dropped acid, what I did was sat in a dark room watching Tron.
Oh my, that must have been something.
And now I have an actually big screen to watch it on.
Okay.
So, I would very much like to do that. Although I can only imagine what it would be like to have cats crawling all over you in the middle of an acid trip. That's got to be creepy. That's got to be
I don't
super
know.
creepy.
I don't know if that would be anything like the DTs. That might not be so good.
I mean, there are things I could do about that, like only do it in my bedroom, maybe. But I'm gonna skip that experience again. I like I say, I've done it 3 times, and I think that's enough.
Yeah, I mean, me, for example, I've been in a shitty enough mood lately that I don't think I'd want to drop anything.
Hmm.
So might potentiate a bad trip, and I don't want that. It's just not fun.
Yeah.
But oh well.
Mhm.
I remember though, there were a couple of times where I would overtoke on grass, and the guy across the hall from me had a 2-hit 4-footer. Okay, this is a bong, 4 feet long, 2 hits of grass smoke in there, and there were a couple of times where I started coughing when with 2 hits in my lungs, and I don't know how it did it, but it got me so fucking high that I could not see and in that visual static that you get, sort of like when you close your eyes and there's the static going on, then I'm hallucinating, at least a video hallucination or whatever. That's the closest I've got with grass. And the damn thing about the first time that happened to me, McCloud was playing on my roommate's television, and that really fucked things up.
Wait, McCloud?
That was a television show about, let me think now, an Arizona sheriff went to New York or something like that. And it was
fish out of water cop story.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for that. I couldn't think of.
Yes, I'm upset about this. You need to see Tron. Now, keep in mind, there's only one Tron movie.
Okay.
But yes, I find that upsetting. You should correct this.
The one they tried to remake or something just isn't real, right?
They never did that. Yeah. It didn't happen. That is not the world.
Okay, then.
That never happened.
Boy, sounds like the remake. Sounds like the way I think of the remake of The Manchurian Candidate.
I remember my parents watching the original. I didn't even know there was a remake. I don't remember anything about it except that it was black and white. So, I mean, I know the basic premise. I just don't remember the experience of watching it unfold is the thing. There's a bunch of movies like that my parents watched when I was way too young to get them. And now I almost want to go back and rewatch some of them just to understand what I missed. But then there are some where the premise doesn't really interest me. Like there's this movie called Heaven Help Us that's about a bunch of boys at a Catholic school. My dad watched it because he was forced into Catholic school as a child by his Catholic Italian parents. The only thing I remember about the movie is that the priests, they're having the mass where all the kids have to be there and sitting and listening to the preaching, and then they stand up to sing and this, that, and the other thing. And the priest had this clicker thing where it was time to stand up, they would click it and everyone would stand up. Now, one of the kids gets his hands on the clicker thing, like one of them. And so, click, click, and everyone stands up, and then the kid clicks it again and everyone sits down. And the priest is like, what the fuck just happened? And he clicks it again. Everyone stands up. The kid goes click, click, and everyone sits down. And so the priest goes click, click. Kid goes click, click. And the priest like click, click. The kid goes click, 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 click. And everyone's up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Until one of the priests figures out which kid has the clicker and bodily drags him out of the pew into the back of the church to be probably caned or something. And I'm just like, yeah. And that is the only part of the movie I remember at all. And that scene is on YouTube. If you type in Heaven Help Us clicker scene, you'll find it. Part of me is tempted to watch the movie again if I can find it, but part of me is like, that might be the only good scene.
Okay. Yeah, there's one film, that you mentioned, the whole Catholic thing that I remember seeing. I'd like to see it again, but I cannot remember the title for the life of me. A general idea of the plot was a bunch of friends, or I don't even know if it was friends, just a bunch of people around a table and talking about the events that went on in their lives and the less than stellar things they did and everything else like that. And there was one.
I have guesses. That is probably either Diner or My Dinner with Andre.
Okay, it's not Diner. I've seen Diner.
All right.
And I love Diner, by the way. But one by one, these people start disappearing from around the table.
I think My Dinner with Andre was only 2 people, so it's not that.
Okay, because here it started with at least a half dozen people. And then people start disappearing from around the table. And I guess it turns out that, while they were around the table, that was the anteroom to the afterlife. And, once they admitted and came to terms with certain things that they did, in their earthly life, then they got to go to heaven. And I
I don't
cannot
think I know
remember
that one.
exactly how it finished, but it was enough for me to want to see it again. But I cannot remember what the hell it was called.
I don't know. I like the idea of a movie where people go to the afterlife and it's totally not the one they thought it would be.
Oh man, that would be perfect.
Not that that hasn't been done before, usually in comic strip form, but still, you know, some devout Catholic gets to the afterlife and he's like, wait a minute, Ganesh was the god all along? Shit. You know?
Yeah, I tried years and years ago writing fiction on that theme where, well, the main character's name was Nicholas Teufel. Those of you who speak German might know where I was going with this. And yeah, at the end, you know, you find it was a professor, researcher in physics, who ends up, he knows he's in the afterlife, but at the end of it, he finds out that Satan was running the show, and it's not all that bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities there. Of course, I would love it if it turns out that the afterlife isn't from Earth at all. That, like,
that
you
would
know,
be
there's
interesting. Yeah.
these aliens orbiting Alpha Lyrae or Zeta Reticuli or something who have their own afterlife, and it turns out that's the one that is real, and humanity just never got the word. That kind of thing. I don't know. It'd be fun.
Wouldn't be a bad idea, really. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, it's like when people talk about reincarnation, they always seem to assume they'll be reincarnated on this planet.
Yeah.
I mean, if reincarnation is real, it's a big friggin' universe out there. And I would cheerfully go to Vegas and bet on there being alien life, intelligent alien life, somewhere out there in those billions of galaxies with billions of stars each. There's gotta be other sentience out there. It just makes perfect sense. So,
yeah, absolutely.
You know, the idea that if you're being reincarnated, it's going to happen here on Earth seems a little silly to me.
Yeah. Now, as far as I can tell, if there's sentient life elsewhere, it probably would have had to have got started about the same time it did here. So the whole life evolving thing out there would have, because if the timeline, if the evolution timeline would be similar, yeah, you'd have to have something going from there. So that would be first generation life out there as well. That would be really fun if I could get a look at it and see how it's built.
Well, okay, I'm rereading the Vlad Telltale series by Stephen Bruce right now. There's a couple of books. The later books I've only read once each, and I don't really remember them very well because it was years ago. And one aspect of this world, the world, like the world of the books, is that it's provable that people have souls. Like literally provable. You can go to the paths of the dead and find them and chat with them if you're so inclined, although it may not go very well for you because getting out of the paths of the dead is hard. If people are killed, as long as their head hasn't been stoven in or their spine severed, they can potentially be revivified, put their soul back in their body and jumpstart them again. And if not, they'll be reincarnated if they don't end up getting tossed over death gates. He's never very consistent. Is it Death Gate or Death's Gate falls? It changes from book to book, which is very frustrating. But the point being that if people aren't sent to the paths of the dead, they can be reincarnated. And having that knowledge, that certain specific knowledge that you will get either an afterlife or reincarnation would have to change your world significantly. Because then all of a sudden death becomes not such a huge deal. I mean, granted, you will end up not seeing your loved ones for a good long time, you know, like, because you may not remember them at all. But at least it's not the end unless you're hit with a Morganti weapon, which kills the soul. But that's another issue entirely. But I mean, point being that there are a lot of things that I would do in life if I knew that, sure, they may be fatal, but I'm coming back, that I'm not doing now. Like, I'd worry a lot less about getting that motor scooter if I know that getting flung from it and dying won't be the end. You know, it would be a lot easier.
Okay. Now, the thing that gives me pause all the time is, well, as Ahran has already said, in his personal worldview, the idea of being dead doesn't bother me all that much. What bothers me is getting that way.
Well, yes. But I mean, okay, being dead bothers me in that there are so many things I'll miss out on.
Okay, but I won't know it.
Yeah, I know, but well, let's put it this way. There are things that I want to experience in my life that if I end up dead without experiencing them, well, it's I now find it unfortunate, you know? And so no, I won't know it when I'm dead, but right now the idea that I'll miss out bothers me.
Yeah, well, this is one of the things that gets to me, if I hear this correctly. If were I to have a protracted death, I know that I'm dying soon, but it's not right now. It's going to be a while. Then I'm knowing that there's shit I'm going to miss out on, and it's getting to me while I'm still alive. Before I die, and then I don't know anything because there's no me to do any knowing. That I get. The other thing that really gets to me is I can't quite wrap my head around being dead, because I do catch myself wondering, gee, what would it be like to be dead? And it's, wait a minute, Clarion, there will be no you to even experience that. Why are you asking that stupid fucking question? But
Tron.
What?
Someone asked something. I gave a one-word answer. That's all.
It's I've been alive all my life, and it's really all I know. I don't know anything other than being alive, as compared to its opposite. So it's kind of hard to shake that mindset.
Well, when they did the brain surgery, it was like someone flicked a switch. There was no going to sleep. There was no waking up. It was literally just bam. And like, I didn't think it was so bad. I thought it felt like, in retrospect, it's what I imagine being dead would be like, is that switch flip, Yeah,
well, the thing is that, of course, you experienced it as well. When I've gone under the knife, I've been under the knife twice in my life. That switch gets flipped. I do remember when I had the cranial surgery, I heard the snap of the valve, or whatever you want to call it, when the anesthesiologist did that little thing with the bulb, and the drip bag started going. That's all I remember. But there was something that came after it that I do remember. Now, what is it, when that snap happens and there's nothing that comes after it? Because, you don't remember anything, not even the things that happens to you, because there's no one there to remember any of this shit. And it's something that brings you pause. It's something that gets you thinking. And
I mean, what I remember when I had the brain surgery done was, again, like I said, it felt like a switch flick. And when I remember, it was the first thing I remember after waking up was them transferring me from a gurney to a bed. And the very first thing I said was that it? Because to me, it was literally an eye blink in terms of duration.
Yes.
Fast, and so when I said, is that it? And 8 hours had gone by.
And then they all started calling you Peggy Lee. No, huh?
What?
Is that all there is? If that's all there is, my friend, then let's keep dancing.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You don't know that song? Okay.
Nope. I remember Peggy Sue Got Married was a movie I never saw.
Okay. It's an interesting
But
little song.
another book series that I really love is the Vorkosigan Saga by Lois McMaster Bujold. Now, one of the characters at one point in one of the books gets like very, very, very shot. Like flechette guns zapping him through the chest, and he's just about to die. And his very last thought is, "Wait, I haven't." And that was it. Right. And then they revived him because they did like tissue regeneration and stuck him in a vat until he was better. But point being that whole "wait, I haven't" is kind of the way I feel about the whole, like, I will miss out on things. There are things I haven't done, things I'll probably never do. And the fact that that is so bothers me.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, that's the part of being dead that I don't care for is that, you know? What the? Oh, crap. Columbia, are you doing that on the carpet?
Oh, no.
Oh, no, she's not. Thank goodness. Okay. Oh, merciful Zeus. Columbia, if you're gonna wharf, get on tile. Oh man, I love my cat, but sometimes, like, I've actually caught her. She's mid barfing, and then it hasn't landed on the rug yet. And I pick her up and put her on tile, and she gives me a filthy look and walks away. Like she doesn't even finish barfing. She just
Yeah.
It's like if it's not done on carpet, it's
Yeah, that's the whole point of the exercise. Yeah, I'm going to barf on the carpet, you know.
This is totally the sort of thing I'm talking about here. Is like I feel I'll die of old age someday, and right after I'm gone, something amazing will be invented, and I'll totally miss out. That's exactly the thing I'm talking about. Right? Like, you see these people in jetpacks and stuff, and I'm like, this is why I don't want to be dead. This is why, because there's so many things, like I'll never get to go to space the way I want to. I'm sure of it, you know?
Yeah.
And that bothers me. I want to stick around until that's a possibility. Now, I've often thought, like, you know, people get the lamp with the genie in it. You rub it. They say, give you, 3 wishes and all of that. And like, inevitably the wishes turn out badly, you know, and I'm sitting here thinking, okay, if I'm given the opportunity to make a wish like that, I'm going to go, okay, wish number 1, every wish, including this one, will turn out as I intend without unforeseen and or unwelcome consequences. That'll be wish number 1, right? Because imagine if you wished to be immortal, but you didn't specify and eternally young. So, you know, I can never die, but I'm still aging and aging and aging until you're just an animate skeleton sitting in a chair, unable to do anything. So if I were to make that first wish, sure, it sounds like a wasted wish because now I only have 2. But if I wish for immortality, I'm going to get it the way I mean it.
Well, I think I have an idea of what the second wish is, right?
Spaceship, obviously.
Oh. Well, I don't know. Maybe the game won't let you have. I was thinking wish number 2 was for an infinite number of wishes.
Oh, I'm assuming that's not allowed.
Okay.
I mean, if that one is allowed, then obviously that's wish number 2. But I'm assuming you only get 3 and that's it. And if that's the case, then I will wish for spaceship, interstellar, hyperspace capable starship as wish number 2. No 2 ways about it. That's going to happen. Mind you, a lot of the things that I might wish for, the smaller, little pettier things, would be possible if this spaceship has, for example, replicators and a holodeck. You know, and of course, any spaceship of mine is going to have a fully stocked fighter bay, obviously.
Of course.
So, yeah, that second wish will cover a lot of the ground that I would have, you know, like lifetime supply of Twinkies, please. You know, that I can get out of the replicator if I have to. You know, the computer supply me with bacon will cover a lot of wishes. So, that helps. I don't know what wish number 3 would be. I might hold it in reserve.
I'm trying to remember the name of the film. I'm going to go looking. The Dudley Moore, is it Robin Cook film, where I believe it's Dudley Moore's character meets Satan and receives wishes, and they all go wrong until finally there's some sort of thing with the contract. He sells his soul, and the contract gets burned up somehow, and everything's fine.
Oh,
I'm just going to have to look up the Peter Cook. I'm sorry.
I remember when I was really young, I watched Oh God, You Devil with George Burns in it. Probably not
Oh,
the same movie.
no. George Burns never did show up in this particular one.
I think that movie might have been my only George Burns experience too.
Oh, okay. It's called Bedazzled.
Oh,
1967 film.
that sounds familiar. Did they remake it
I was going to find out.
with? Oh yeah, here we go, with Elizabeth Hurley and Brendan Fraser. That's right.
Okay, then.
Yeah, hopeless dweeb Elliot Richards is granted 7 wishes by the devil to snare Allison, the girl of his dreams, in exchange for his soul. Yes, it's they very much remade it.
Okay, then.
You know, at some point I'm going to have to get some of that lunch stuff I've read so much about. It is 3:30 in the afternoon, and what have I had to eat today? Not much.
Oh, my.
So I tried to do that.
Not a very
Plus,
good
I was, before I started this stream, I was actually planning on doing some VR, but then I realized, you know what? Let's open presents first. And so I
boy.
did.
Yay.
I don't know if you were here for the unboxing. I know I put the message into the tweeters to see if anyone wanted to join, and I'm kind of hurt more people didn't want to join, darn it.
It took me a while to wake up, sorry.
But the very first thing I did before I let anyone else in was unbox a whole bunch of stuff. If anyone is here and you missed that, here's the Alien Xenomorph Beer Stein.
Oh, no.
This shit was expensive, by the way. I'm shocked anyone bought it for me.
Wow.
It was crazy, like $150 or some shit. Not even kidding. And then there was also a kick and board game called Gizmos, and 3 seasons of Tailspin, and season 1 of the Stranger Things soundtrack. And also, I opened the stuff that Purple sent me. He didn't tell me he was including this T-shirt, this Captain Morgan T-shirt, in the box. But I also got the jarts.
Okay, then. Okay.
So yeah, he sent me that stuff. I was pretty sure it was him because I saw the name on the address label, but I didn't want to tell anyone because I don't know how protective he is of that now.
I forget. I really do. I think he's a little less protective than he used to be, but I couldn't tell you how much. I mean, yeah. I know his name, but
well, yeah, and
I mean, he was only over here, you know.
And his name is extraordinarily generic.
Yes.
So there's that. It's funny how much he resembles because we only saw him as his avatar for a very long time, but based on his voice and his avatars, he looks really close to what I pictured in my head.
Yeah, well, I guess the idea was that he asked Paul to come close, as close as he could to life. Paulogia drew that avatar. So if I remember correctly, he sent Paul a picture of the mask, which I believe you've seen, the orange Triceratops mask, and then a picture of him. And then said, mash these two together and see what you get.
But
Yeah, but he does very, very much resemble that avatar.
well, it's not just the avatar though, it's also the voice. Like I pictured it. He's one of the few times where what I pictured in my head and what I eventually saw matched even slightly. Like the first time I saw Apologia, I was a little surprised because he only sort of looks like his avatar. And
Right. I think there was a little wishful thinking going on with that avatar.
and Prophet of Zod, you know, you see him in that big puffy coat and he's got the static going on his face and all that stuff. And you see him in person and oh my gosh, I mean, he doesn't look like his voice sounds and he's really tall. And apparently, like, he and I are the same age, but he looks 20 years older than I do. So there's that. But I mean, and he's a really nice and kind of soft-spoken guy in person. And I think he's pretty neat. I think Prophet Azad is nifty. So there's that. But he did not look at all. Honestly, I expected him to look more like Apologia.
Okay. And well, that's the one thing everybody says, and I see it, is everybody thinks Paul is taller than he actually is.
Very
What
much
is he, like 5'4" or some shit?
I know,
like
he's
that?
minuscule. I could pick him up and throw him for a pass. It's the same thing with Zom Gets Chris, right? I mean, oh my God,
Yeah,
Chris
she's
is what she
tiny.
calls herself, but I cannot see her name and not think Zom Gets. She's minuscule as well. She's very small. Like I look at her on her videos and I think she's this like tall, leggy blonde, but no, she's a Smurf.
I have to wonder, yeah, if there's a little bit of camera stuff going on there, you know, and just the angles from which she shoots. Because there's the one video I remember where she's dancing on camera, and the view is from the ground up, so she would naturally look taller than she actually is.
And it's the same thing with Jacqueline Glenn, actually. I met her briefly once, a bunch of American atheists for the conventions ago. And yeah, she's pretty tiny too.
I know that's an interesting thing. I mean, when you mentioned the conventions and stuff like that, I wonder what's going to happen to, say, Faithless Forum, say the American Atheist Convention, that sort of thing, with this whole quarantine thing going on. I mean, I'm betting that none of it will occur, but I could be wrong.
I was very close to buying tickets for at least one of them, and I'm glad now that I didn't, because canceling those flights, canceling the hotel, trying to get a refund on my tickets and all of that stuff, I'm so glad I don't have to jump through those hoops now. Yeah, so there's that. I'm a little worried because my dad usually visits me in the spring, and I suspect that's not happening this year.
Okay, yeah, yeah. You've mentioned this before. I think on my channel or something like that, because you're not sure. What is it now? You're not sure that he would be able to get into the country.
Oh, it doesn't even matter. I'm not even sure. Like, if he was in Vermont instead of Mexico right now, I'm not sure he could get to me even then.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Are flights grounded right now, or are people still flying?
I haven't looked. I couldn't tell you.
So, I mean, if people are not able to fly at all, clearly Dad's not getting to me, right? But if people are allowed to fly, even then, I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, one thing I've been asking people is, like, after 9/11 and the shoe bomber and all that stuff, and now we have to practically strip down to get onto an airplane.
Right.
And what is going to remain post-pandemic, assuming we survive it, that didn't exist before it in terms of stuff we have to do?
Yeah, I'm guessing that there's going to be a good bit of stuff remaining. How much?
Everyone has to get a cheek swab before they get on the plane, kind of thing.
That might, don't say it twice. That might happen. Yeah. Okay. Please try to not think I'm absolutely crazy here. I know it sounds a little conspiratorial.
Yeah.
I know that the GOP, that Trump did not manufacture the virus, but did they intentionally screw up some of the response to it?
I don't think so. I think that was just Trump's ego at work. Because, I mean, there are a lot of articles floating around right now explaining how immature Trump truly is. People are comparing him non-facetiously to a 4-year-old. Like how thin his skin is and his ego and like how much he has to win at all costs. Right. And they're pointing out how he's been telling Mike Pence, who apparently is in charge of the pandemic, to not call back the governors that had dissed Trump. Like he's going, don't talk to what's her face from Michigan or that other guy. Don't do it.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
And things like that. And he is not capable of doing anything if it might hurt his precious little ego. That's like part of who he is. And so I don't think he intentionally screwed anything up. I think when he fired the CDC staff, he genuinely thought, oh, this is just a waste. We don't need these pandemic experts. We're not in the middle of a pandemic now. We clearly don't need you. That sort of thing. And so I think it was genuinely ego and incompetence and lack of far vision that led to where we are now, and not malice.
Okay, because that I never know. And as I do say, I admit that I do sometimes lean a little to the conspiratorial. That's just something I have to work on, keeping a lid on that with myself.
Yeah. I mean, I have my own moments where I'm like, wow, this seems intentional, but I also realize that way a tinfoil hat lies. So, what's the one I'm looking. Yeah, here we go. Hanlon's razor. Never attribute to malice that which is adequately explained by stupidity. And I think that is the motto for the Trump administration.
My ex would tell me that one time and time and time and time again. Yeah, it's like, listen, it could be stupidity. And most of the time she had a point.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think like what have I thought about conspiratorially lately? Because I know there was something where I had the thought and then said to myself, wait a minute. That sounds really sort of like bunker in the wildernessy, and let's examine this a little further. Just to make sure, no, am I being crazy or not? So,
yeah, because the thing that would have me thinking, doing a little bit of leaning conspiratorially, is the stuff that he did with his cabinet. I mean, appointing the least competent people to their, like Devo, Secretary of Education, Carson,
but when you look at who these people are, and you realize that they may be incompetent, but what they are is ideologically pure, as far as the Republicans are concerned. Those are the people whose ideology fits the job, even if their skill set doesn't.
Okay, yeah, and what I'm thinking is that, he's out to destroy it only because I'm looking at what I think it should be, which is not what he thinks it should be.
Okay, so I do not know Project Looking Glass. If I'm not drawn to it, it's because I don't know it, whatever it is.
Wait a minute, is that the battleship that disappeared?
It says it's time travel to save humanity is what we're told here. If you look at the quote there on the screen, I don't know it, whatever it is. The closest thing I can think of, if you're right about the battleship, is The Final Countdown with, I think, Kirk Douglas, where a modern aircraft carrier goes back in time to like World War II or something through some weird storm. I don't remember. I saw it once a long ass time ago. I don't remember it.
Okay.
Well, yes. Okay, yes, not just ideologically pure, but subservient to the dear leader. Yes, that too. But I would say that being subservient to the dear leader is part of the ideology. So, one step removed.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of the Philadelphia experiment. It's out there on the font of all knowledge, which is very likely not real.
Well, of course not. But no, I was anyway, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't know this Looking Glass project. Never heard of it until now.
Okay, then.
I cannot say without lying that I have not heard of Project Looking Glass now. It is not possible for me to make that statement without lying anymore, unless it's years later and I've forgotten.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
Yay.
But
yeah, let's see what's happening over here. Okay, that's still working. Yeah, my view on YouTube had frozen for a little bit, but it's
the
working.
Manhattan Project, isn't that the one with the nukes and not?
The Manhattan Project was about building the atomic bomb. Yeah.
Right. So no, there's a lot of things with the something project, the Manhattan Project, and the Philadelphia experiment, and the Alan Parsons Project, or whatever that was.
Yes, and then there's the Manhattan Transfer.
Yeah, all of that. I don't know. I'm losing my train of thought here, or maybe I'm just out of energy. I should probably get that food, I guess.
Yeah.
It is a shame that the folks that I messaged didn't join in, because I was kind of looking forward to some Quiplash. I should make an official Quiplash night and let people know, like, a week ahead or something.
That would be a good thing. Really, it would.
I suppose I could open it up to the audience too, but I was kind of hoping to get folks in that I knew better, at least for this stream.
Yeah, I was in bed most of the day. It took everything I had to get out of bed and stay there, because it was just so nice to be under the blanket with Sylvia curled up beside me, and I wasn't thinking about anything, and it was just warm and nice. And then the thought would come into my head, with the apartment looks like shit, you really should do something about it, Clarion.
I should go get like an automatic cat food dispenser or something, so I can stay in bed and not have cats pawing at my nose to get up.
Oh God, I know that feeling.
I mean, because the cat, Xander, will bounce all over me to wake me up, and that's what I'm used to from cats. But Columbia will bat at my nose with her paw. And I know I've mentioned on your channel before, I don't think I've said it on mine, there was once she was batting at my nose, and then her claws came out. She hooked one into my nostril and yanked.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that. Yeah,
I was up in a flash. I was ready to murder my poor cat. And like for days, there was just like, that movie with Jack Nicholson, Martin Scorsese, where someone sticks a switchblade up his nose and like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Actually, I don't. No.
Okay, well, that's the thing that happened in a movie, and it felt like that. For days later, I had this split in my nostril where Columbia's claw had ripped right through it. It was so unpleasant.
I have to wonder, now that you mentioned that, you bring up interesting things. So many people I see have split earlobes because they've had the pierced ears, and the stuff that they're hanging from that is so heavy that it actually works its way through the earlobe. Now you got the two pieces hanging around. I wonder how that feels. I don't want to experience it to know how it feels, but
So the movie I was thinking of was Chinatown.
Oh! I do know of the film.
Sticks the thing up his nose, and yeah.
I do know the film, yes.
Wait, it says it's Roman Polanski directed it. I thought for sure it was Martin Scorsese. Oh well, maybe I'm wrong. But
That never happens.
yeah, I know, right? I thought I was wrong once, but nah, I was mistaken. Man, I so totally could have sworn that was Martin Scorsese. Oh well, not important. Point being that oh wow, music by Jerry Goldsmith. Might have to watch this movie. I love Jerry Goldsmith. But yeah, that's with Columbia, Claw, Switchblade, same thing. You know, I mean, let's face it, cats are just razor blades and fur coats. That's what they are.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, Colleen, I am doing a live stream, but I'm about to end it because I'm very hungry. You should have shown up earlier.
Is not annoying. Well, Colleen, yeah, if you want to see Kate in a live stream, come on over to my channel on Sunday. You are coming, aren't you?
I plan to be at your live stream, yes.
Okay, yay.
So
I'm a sick piece of work, you know that, right?
Well, hey, look on the bright side.
Okay, yep.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yeah, you know, I might do these more often. I just need a reason. I don't know. Like, I usually don't have much to talk about that I would do in a live stream, but I suppose I could do them more often. Now, what do you mean that it can hurt the algorithm? Do you mean like don't keep the live stream, like the final live streamy thing, the final product here on my channel? Because that would be, I don't know. Well, in any event, if I can,
I don't know.
If I can get together a regular enough cast, perhaps I will do more live streams. Like if I can get enough people to commit to coming by, so it's not just two of us, you know. Oh, they want a link to your channel.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Here, look at this right here. Can we get a link? They want a link to your channel.
Okay, we can manage that. Yes, we can. Let's see where we are. Oh, come on, you.
I do have a second channel. I mostly use it just for gaming, and I haven't touched it in ages. So,
oh wait a minute. What am I thinking? I know how I can do this. Oh my.
Or alternately, I can make I can get it fairly quickly. Or maybe I can't. YouTube. Problem is, you're not the only lavender lady out there.
Right.
All right, but this is definitely your channel.
Yeah, there are at least two lavender ladies that I know of. I am one of them, but I think if I have it right, I am the only lavender lady that I know of. The other one I think is simply lavender lady. Yeah, I got one of those custom URLs. I just never see it come up on the channel. I mean,
well, one thing that really helped is if you got on YouTube early, your username was your channel name. Like, there's a reason you can type in Bionic Dance as the username in the URL, like youtube.com/channel/Bionic Dance. You will get me as a result of that. Whereas most people have that random ass string of characters.
Yeah, the channel the channel you and I cited here in the side stream started only in 2018. I've had another channel for ages, and that one is YouTube, Diana Clarion. But I would have to do a lot of reorganization on that channel because the stuff that's on it isn't worth watching, isn't worth looking at. Really, it's not.
I have to ask, is this...
Oh, thank you.
Is this name a pun? Like, is that supposed to be Dust Inverness? Like, or is that actually your name? because my brain is turning the last couple of syllables there into Inverness, like in what is that, Scotland or England or some shit? Inverness.
I believe it's Scotland. Yeah.
Yeah, there's this radio play that is just really screwy and fucked up that my parents had me listen to a long ass time ago, and I managed to find it in MP3 format. It's called The Fourth Tower of Inverness. And it starts out seeming like some sort of, I mean, this guy goes to visit his auntie at a castle in Inverness, and it turns into this weird psychedelic, like, mind fuck by the end of it. And it's just really weird. So,
All right.
yeah, I mean, it was apparently done live, so a lot of the mistakes are still in it. And there's a couple of times where the actors just can't stop laughing and stuff like that. So but I mean, it was worth a listen, no matter how silly it was. So,
Okay, then. Yeah, and then,
yeah.
yeah, Kate says she's got to do some more live streaming, and I've got to do more scripted videos. I've been saying this, and you've been telling me, yeah, Clarion, sure you will, you know.
Yeah.
But I really do need to do that stuff. There have been people asking for it, and
Oh yeah,
that's where I
there's people
started.
asking for it.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's where I got started. That was my bread and butter for at least a year, and it would be fun to get back onto it, especially responding to Catholic answers. But
you know, it's funny. Like for a very long time, I didn't know what the hell a lock was, and so I did not understand the name Loch Ness. It didn't make sense to me at all. And then I figured out what it meant. And I was like, oh, okay. And it makes sense now. But like I used to think that the Loch Ness monster was the Loch Ness monster. Like Loch Ness was all one word.
Okay, then.
That kind of thing. And then there was like at one point when I was really little, like single digit age, I thought it was the Lochless monster because I didn't know. I just knew that lock and less were words. I didn't know lock and ness were a thing. I don't know. And of course, the lock I was picturing was like lock and key. What do you want from me? I was 4, you know. So yeah. Anyway, I really am starting to get very hungry. So I think I'm going to end the broadcast.
Okay, then.
And I had a good time. Maybe I can start getting guests if I make this a regular thing. I don't know.
Oh, my. That would be interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, have fun. Don't get caught. Don't get run over.
Great to meet you, everybody, in the side chat, and thanks for the sub. By the way,
may you be found dead in bed at the age of 99, shot by a jealous lover. Until next time, fellow space travelers. And